Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this special episode of Shouting to the Void. It's our Series 4 review. A
Woohoo!
usual episode would see us talk about an episode of Doctor Who from 2005 onwards. So, as we are at the end of Series 4, this is our Series 4 review, you can probably guess we've watched all of 1, 2, and 3, and 4. You'd be
Yes.
correct.
And if you're a fan of the episode reviews, sorry.
Yeah, Soz, that'll be back in 2 weeks.
You can dislike, we won't see it, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We don't see the dislikes. It's fine.
You have no power here.
Although it still gives me a percentage of how many likes to dislikes. So
Yeah, that's
I
true.
can work
you
it
can
out.
work it out. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But who would do that?
But yes, I mean, by all means, go back and watch the series 4 episodes we reviewed. We have done all of them, so they are there.
There's 14 of them, so enjoy.
Yeah, there's quite a few. And this will just be going over our top picks of the series, what we enjoyed, what we didn't enjoy, and what we think our best and worst episodes are, which will then compare to how we actually rated the episodes. Because sometimes they can be different, whether that's nostalgia playing into a factor or just not having seen them. For example, we might think, oh yeah, Partners in Crime was great because that was about 15 weeks ago. But it might turn out we were like, Partners in Crime, not that good.
In retrospect, having seen everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It was terrible.
I guess we'll start with overall. How did you think Series 4 went?
It was good. Thanks for watching.
Good, nice. Thanks, IGN.
Hey, humour only we will understand. But yeah, I really like the season overall. I don't want to just get into the nitty gritties because obviously we have positives, negatives, and stuff. But yeah, overall, I would say it was a success.
Mm-hmm.
I think it had some of the strongest episodes thus far in it. I think we had, cast on top form. We had a great Doctor Companion dynamic. Damn, that's a good positive. That's an additional one. There you go. But yes, and we had Wilf, who's also great. And damn, that's a good positive. But yeah, I really enjoyed it overall. Very strong series. I shocked myself when I looked at all the previous scores and stuff. Mm-hmm. So we'll get into that when we get into that as I talk about which is my favorite. But yeah, this is definitely, I think, one of the strongest series of RTD's first era. We will see if it holds up amongst the second, whenever that comes out at some point in years to come by. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Series 4 is good. Big fan. I think it gets better and better for the most part as it goes along. And even when there are some weaker moments, we do have, some good character moments or some little bits and pieces to carry it through. But I think it's also, in terms of quality, I think it's the most consistent series so far.
Yeah, I think I pretty much agree. I definitely think it's the best one we've seen overall so far. I'd have to think about if I'd prefer to have certain episodes from 1, 2, and 3 in this one. Obviously, I'd love to have Boomtown in this. I think it would be great. But never mind. Yeah, I think it was, as you mentioned, very consistent. It was probably top level for most of it, especially the second half of the series. It helps that we've got a good dynamic and a different dynamic, I think, as well in the TARDIS, which helps freshen it up compared to 3 seasons of Companions in Love with the Doctor story. I think this is probably David Tennant's best series so far. Overall, series 2 you can kind of like write it off because he's just into the role, still finding his feet. But I think in this one, he's definitely knows how he wants to play the character at this point, and you can tell that in most of the episodes. But yeah, I won't go into too much detail because obviously we'll come on to our positives in a sec. But yeah, just really good overall. I think the nostalgia for this series isn't misplaced. I think it deserves to have that fondness that I think a lot of fans have for it.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. As we've seen throughout the past, 14, 15 weeks. So we will go on.
So many weeks.
It's alright, there's more to come. So many more.
Another 9 series.
Oh, it's alright. At least I don't think there's a series that lasts 15 episodes anymore. I think the most of them finish at 13, don't they?
Well, if you count Christmas specials, then the first couple of years of Moffat is still 14.
Oh, god damn it. Well, at least it's not 15.
It's not until comparative that they went down to 12 episodes a season.
All right. Wow. Never mind then. You've got a few to go.
So we've still got another couple of years.
Yep.
Then we can have a bit of a break.
Yeah, right. This is it. We're stuck in a loop now. Until the show ends, we're going to be stuck doing this.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, we've got to catch up at some point.
Yeah, sure.
Especially there's like a lot of gaps this year.
There is a gap this year and next year, so we might catch up.
We'll probably catch up.
By the time they hit their 15th Doctor, we'll catch up.
Yeah, just we're about to start Classic Who as well. We're going to have New Who come back, and we can't do it.
Yeah, we'll just finish with Jodie. We'll just have caught up now. We've watched Russell T Davies' second era, and then all of a sudden Moffat's back, and then we're gonna have to watch Moffat's second era, and it's no.
Then Chibnall comes back.
Chibnall's gonna come back, and it's just gonna be that cycle over and over again.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? But no. Anyway,
I'd be alright with it. That'd be bloody hilarious.
Yeah. Very funny. Anyway, series 4. We're still in Russell T Davies era 1. What are your highlights of the series?
Well, in terms of positives, I take it, not just generic stuff.
Well, it could be both, I guess. Surely, if
both.
it's a highlight, it's a positive.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're positive, but yeah, if we want to be pedantic about it.
Yes, thank you. We have a format here, Connor, and I think we should stick to it.
You have to,
otherwise, the viewers will get confused.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Consistency, much like series 4. But yeah, I'll just go into my positives. My first main one, I would say, is Donna.
Say,
yay! She's great. I love Donna. I knew this going in, and I appreciate her even more coming out of watching it again. Yeah, like you said, it's refreshing to have a companion who's not in love with the Doctor. I just liked their kind of dynamic of just being best friends, but still has that go-to tragic ending that we all know and hate and love at the same time. But yeah, Catherine's an incredible actress throughout. She obviously has like the very Catherine Tate-isms every now and again, certainly early in the series. But then I think, we see Donna really, really grow a lot, becomes very kind of caring and sympathetic. She can break your heart fairly easily as well, like episodes like Turn Left are clear examples of that, and Journey's End, Planet of the Ood. So there's a lot of that. Yeah, I like that she challenges the Doctor like fairly early on, like Fires of Pompeii, and that kind of lasts until it doesn't, and she forgets everything, which is a very sad kind of ending, but I think it's kind of performed brilliantly from start to finish, basically. I still remember watching Sky News when they announced that Ood were coming back. And that's how I found out that Donna was the companion in series 4. And I was like, really? Yeah. Okay. And then Politics and Crime Ed was like, I'm on board. Let's do this. As is the Doctor Who way when a new thing's introduced and you're like, no, I hate it. And then you're actually watching like, no, this is good, actually. It's the great cycle that we all go through. But yeah, a really great character. I think, of the entire era, by far my favorite companion. I think Tennant and Donna is one of the best TARDIS teams we've probably had in the new series for me. And yeah, she's great. I love her entire arc. I love the moments that she can make you laugh out loud with, but at the same time she was just as capable of making you weep, which I guess depending on your points of view, Rose and Martha could also do that, but for me I think Donna is a much more emotionally resonating companion. Really great performance from the off. Catherine's great. Can't wait to see her again in the 60th. Lying through her teeth on the one show this week. But yeah, I love Donna. She's such a fantastic companion. Still holds up all these years later, which is great. And yeah, she's definitely a big highlight. I think series 4 would be much, much less if Donna wasn't the companion. So it was cool that they took the chance to revisit it, seemingly a one-off character from the Christmas special right after Billie Piper left, and she got a brilliant story.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think definitely with the story-wise, it's probably the strongest for the companion we've had. And it really felt like it was a companion story and not just a side effect of things happening. Like, it felt like you were on Donna's journey, whereas with Martha, it kind of felt like, I'm just going to leave now. And it was kind of an abrupt end. With Rose, it was kind of like a similar thing. She just happened to, whoops, sorry, I'm gone. But with Donna, there was the growth. Unfortunately, it did leave, but I think it helped with the arc as well, where you sort of had the inkling that something was going to happen, which wasn't necessarily there.
I think her standing out is all the more impressive with this as well, because episode 1 she's been introduced. Oh, Rose is back, and then a couple of episodes later, oh, Martha's back, and she's around for like 3 episodes, and then the last 3 episodes again is everyone's back, and yet Donna still remains a standout. It could have easily been like, oh wow, it's a shame that Donna get brought back, but over half the episodes is like there are other companions there too, but it doesn't really feel like that. So I think that's really impressive.
Yeah, and that's sort of the main thing, is that she doesn't get left out in any episodes, except for obviously Midnight when she's not in it. But you know, you never feel like she's sent on a side mission, and we only just check in every now and then, and it's there's no point in her actually being there. You know, similar to probably Rose in The Unquiet Dead, when she's just kind of kidnapped and then just in the room and then just sort of there and left. You know, I never got that moment with Donna. You could have had it in Fires of Pompeii, but I think the fact that has played such a crucial role in helping the Doctor make the final decision that he does in that episode sort of brings it home a little bit more, because they're pretty similar episodes. You know, Fires of Pompeii and Unquiet Dead, historical setting, companion gets kidnapped, explosion to get out of the situation. Except there's a big...
Oh my god!
I know, right? Who would have made that connection?
Every episode is the same.
What a twist! Who'd have guessed?
It's almost as if every story that could be told has been told in every medium, almost.
Definitely. I mean, every story's ever been told in Doctor Who. You know, there's been enough episodes
That's true.
Will be told.
That's true,
but yeah, I never felt that she was left out, which we might come on to in negatives in terms of things being left out. But yeah, Donna is great. I think she deserves to be up there with some of the best companions of probably the show as a whole, but definitely, definitely New Who. And she's definitely the best companion we've had so far.
Yeah, just the whole arc of her really not believing in herself and not believing that she's special. Then it kind of proves that she is, but then she forgets that. It's just so sad. But you know, people still talk about her getting her memory wiped now, and like companion exits. Donna will always come up as like one of the best ones. So I think that shows her impact, considering this was a long time ago.
Yes,
14 years ago.
Quite a way ago now, unfortunately.
Heck.
Horrifying.
Absolutely awful.
In which case, what is your second positive? Because obviously mine's also Donna.
Oh yeah, of course. The original creatures /
nice.
monsters.
They're not one of. That's
aliens.
not one of my top 3, but that's in my external is new.
Yes,
monsters.
external is.
Yeah, my external positives.
Oh, I get it. I'm going to use that, but yeah. I think they did a really great job with their creativity this season. I mean, there's been a lot of really good original ones, but I feel like series 4 was kind of overflowing with ones that I enjoyed, even if they're a bit kind of silly, like a giant wasp. I'm like, it looks cool. It's a cool
and adipose.
It's a silly story. Yeah, we started with adipose, who are adorable, and I love them. And I've still got a plushie of one in the cupboard over there. I should have brought it out, but never mind. And then, you know, say what you will about the Pyroval. I think the designs of them are quite cool.
Yes,
So I think there's something to, you know, about that in all of them. Then we have Udin Sontara.
Then we have Kez.
Good old Cal, best original villain. And then, you know, Doctor's Daughter, the Hath, I think are really cool. I think they look great. I want them back. The Vesper form is just an icon. Fashion Narada, I think, is one of the best one-off villains we've ever had in Doctor Who. They're so cool, so creepy. You know, we don't even see what the Midnight Entity is about, but it has such a big impact. Just it's, you know, what it does and what it's capable of, rather than what it looks like and stuff. Psychologically, one of the best villains ever. And then, I mean, the Beetle is just a Beetle, but what it does to Donna is effed up. And of course, it works with the Trickster, who's the best Surgeon Adventures villain. So there's that. And yeah, Davros gets brought back into the fold for the first time. He's great.
Don't forget about the hosts of Max Capricorn.
I skipped over those for a reason, Connor.
What are you on about? Max Capricorn's great.
You know what? I really like the Heavenly Hosts. They're a cool design. I will leave it at that, out of respect. But for people who like him out there.
Yeah.
Is that one of your positives for Series 4? Is Max
Capricorn? No, but it was one of my positives for the episode, was Max Capricorn.
Yeah. So, you know, there's always an exception to the rule. There's always a Max Capricorn to your Vashnarada. So yeah, not all hits, but for the most part, I think they did some really interesting stuff with everything new that we saw. And especially because we had, the Ood coming back, we had the Daleks coming back, we had the Sontarans coming back, which I will get on to. I think we had some great standouts, and some that never came back, like the Bastion Armada, like the Midnight Entity. They still have such a huge impact culturally, I think, with Doctor Who fandom. So
even the Adipose,
great job.
Well.
And the Adipose, great job, Series 4.
Yeah, now show me the adult adipose in TV, please. I want to see it. I want to see the big adipose, please.
I want to see
it. I want it now. 60th.
Yes, they're going to be the villains.
That'll be it. Well, they're not really the villains, though. That's the thing. That's why.
Well, there might be a villainous one out there. We don't know.
I mean, to be fair, that's why it's new monsters, not new villains, because adipose probably not really villains.
Yeah.
The matron probably is. Hath isn't really a villain. The Beetle arguably isn't necessarily the villain in that. It's just being used.
Yeah, it's more the fortune teller lady.
Yeah.
Chantho.
And then the Vesperform turns out to be the villain, because it could be they could almost play it like he was just natural instinct, but then he's like, I wanted to kill everyone. It's like, oh well, never mind then. Sorry.
Okay, never mind. That's fine.
But yeah, I mean, humans are the real villains, aren't they? Especially in
That's true. It is always the way.
Humans are the worst. But no, fair enough. As I mentioned, it's one of my sort of external ones is New Monsters, and yeah, I just think they're very well done. I think maybe compared to Series 3, I think because there's not really a dud episode in this one, it brings the monsters up. Whereas if you think of Series 3's New Monsters, obviously they introduced the Weeping Angels.
Slabs.
They introduced the Slabs in that one, but you've got the Weeping Angels, you've got the Family of Blood and the Scarecrow army. So there's a few good ones in Series 3, but I think Series 4, as we've said, is more consistent with its new monsters, and most of them are memorable.
Yeah.
And they still stand up now. But yeah, my second...
Vesperform doesn't. Vesperform flies.
My second positive.
No. I need more Vesperform jokes.
It is.
I'm on top Vesperform. Okay, you can go now.
Oh God, you really sting like a bee. The finale. That's my second positive.
Okay.
As we've sort, maybe it's just because we've just come back off of it. I don't know. But I just think it's just such a celebration of the show that I think it's a real highlight for the Series 4. When we started the series, I was just thinking, I really like the finale. I can't wait till we get to the finale. The finale's great. And during the finale, I was like, I can't believe we're at the finale. This finale's great. I like it. And now, even after that, I was like, that finale was so great. I can't believe it's amazing. Just because, we mentioned it at the time, it feels like this is the culmination of 4 years of the show. It feels like this is where it could have ended and probably should have ended for David Tennant's run. And yeah, it's God damn contractual obligations.
It's time to
with the theatre.
Teach you this lesson, old man.
Yeah, basically. This damn show just keeps going one series too long for all of its doctors. Oh,
God damn it.
But no, I just think it's just so grand in scale. Just both parts of it are, for me at least, on par with each other. Whereas previously we've had one half that's been weaker than the other. Last series was a prime example of that.
Yeah.
But this one, it just feels like it's so grand. The scale's so big. There's such a big threat. You've got Davros coming back, one of the most iconic classic villains that was yet to come back. Obviously, the Daleks are there with their new Supreme Dalek design, which is also excellent. All the characters have come back that we've known. Even the small ones you forget about, like Harriet Jones. Mr. Copper gets the shout out. You've got Lee. That was him when he saw his work go. He's like, yeah.
Before he was brutally exterminated.
Before he was killed by the Daleks. Yeah, that's canonical.
Absolutely.
In the show.
Yeah.
But then it even ties together the spin-offs with Sarah Jane and Torchwood. I just, I think Series 4 really sets up the need for grand finales in Doctor Who. And I think it's continued pretty well, especially with, for me, End of Time I think is a good finale. For the specials, I think the Pandora Core Opens, at least the first part of that one, is a good finale for Series 5. I think Series 6 might be a bit wobbly for me, but Series 7's finale, obviously that's Night of the Doctor, Day of the Doctor, time, name of the Doctor, night, all that, all of the Doctor,
specials.
yeah. All of that's great, and I think even when we go into Capaldi, you've got the Cybermen finale, but both Cybermen finales, and Heaven Sent.
Both Cybermen / Master finales.
Yes, you're right. And I just think that this really sets the bar for the finales to be these big events.
Yeah, I can't imagine how it would be like knowing like where the finales end up going and stuff, and how TV goes like that. Watching Classic Who when the finales are just another story and that's it, and like see you next year,
isn't it? Yeah,
it's madness, really.
And that's because, and it's it is a factor of TV, is that everything just goes, whoa, it's bigger, everything's got to be big.
It must be drama. It must be drama now.
Yeah, and at least like with shows like, you could compare Sherlock. There's not really a big event for the end. It's a bit more of a more critical story, but it's not like this big, oh my god, except whereas Doctor Who and shows like Supernatural, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., all that kind of thing, have the big finales that they need to do. But yeah, I think this really sets the bar for the show, and it's just real good fun that I will probably go and rewatch, not straight away, but pretty soon, probably definitely this year. I'll probably watch this again, because yeah, it's just very good. So what is your third / final positive?
The celebration / payoff / conclusion to this era.
There you go. Yeah.
So basically what you were kind of saying, some of my thoughts on the finales and all the characters come back aside, you can't deny it's a really great kind of, haha, well done for watching the past 4 years. Here is your reward. Everyone is here.
14.
Here's to the next 14 years. But yeah, I think it's a great kind of punch the air moment, basically from Turn Left onwards, really. Or if you're a super fan of Rose, Partners in Crime onwards. If you're a fan of TV screens, like Partners in Crime, Boys in the Sky, and Midnight. Oh my god.
No one's a fan of that.
I'm sure Rose enjoyed it. But yeah, it's great to kind of have so much investment in a show for 4 years, and every now and again it will reward you for like, thanks for sticking with us, as Doctor Who does time and time again. So I really like that, having everyone show up again. A big kind of swan song for most of the characters outside of like little cameos and End of Time and stuff. This feels like the end of the story Russell wanted to tell when he signed on to do Doctor Who. And I think the specials are more of like an epilogue or a coda rather than, this is the real end of the story. This feels like this is what we were building towards. So he always had that plan in mind with Rose ending up in the Doctor, and he like achieves that here and everything. All the companions are sent off on their merry ways to carry on their lives. The Doctor's left on his own. It could have easily been, albeit a very depressing ending to the show, it could have been an ending to the show. So yeah, I really enjoy all of that, and all the little moments in Turn Left referencing everyone before we then actually see them in person the following week, and having the Daleks show up, having Davros show up. Davros was kind of the big villain that everyone was waiting for by that point. Like, is it when he's going to pop up next? Like, we'd had all the big ones really apart from him. So yeah, it was really cool. I remember just being in that moment and seeing all the hype of everyone showing up, and the trailers with everyone being in it, and the poster coming out with Davros, and like, oh my god, Davros is back, and all of that. It's a really great celebration of the era. And I know some people don't like when Doctor Who does that, and they'll moan about half an hour of a David Tennant's last episode being all companion goodbyes and stuff. But I'm like, but it's good though. It's fun and emotional.
I like. Let me have
this. It's the last time we're ever going to see them, apart from Captain Jack.
For now.
So yeah, and apart from Donna until the 60th. But yeah, and apart from Rose and they're the Doctor, although it's technically not Rose.
Stupid! Sure why did you come back?
every time without fail, whenever I mention it. She came back because David Tennant and Matt Smith asked her to come back.
Then put her in with David.
They did put her in with David.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Not the same. They didn't even work with her. They didn't have any dialogue with her.
I'm sorry. Did they not do exactly what you wanted?
No,
with your 50th anniversary special.
No, they didn't. Especially when I didn't care for when the 50th. I wasn't something I was clamoring for when the 50th came out. I was like, oh. But now, in hindsight, should have argued more. Should have put on Twitter more.
Yes, because those are famously good people to be. But yeah, it's a great kind of payoff, celebration, and mainly wrap up of the previous 4 years. Everyone but Chris Eccleston basically showed up in that one. Even Jackie popping up and saving Sarah Jane. Can you just imagine that? Oh yeah, and Jackie comes in and saves Sarah Jane's like, what the hell? It's a low moment for Sarah Jane. But yeah, I really love that series 4 just really lent into that in the end. And yeah, it was a great feeling to be a fan then, and it's cool to revisit that now and remember I remember rushing home from a family friend's birthday party. We need to leave early because Doctor Who's on. We didn't tell them that. We just made another excuse, I think. And we're not friends with them anymore, so it's fine.
They found out you were going home to watch Doctor Who, and they're like, we're not being friends with you anymore.
I actually in a drunken argument, I revealed the horrible truth on Christmas Day in Wolford. The truth came out. But yeah, it's such a cool thing that they really just lent into that. I'm like, no, this might be the last time we can get all you guys back together. So F it. Let's go out and give it our best shot. Whether it falls apart or not at some points, well, it doesn't matter because they're all there and it's fun. So yeah, love that about series 4.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, it's a real good celebration, which it deserves to be. My final proper positive is just the range of episodes we get this series. I know series 1 had the big criticism of everything's effectively set on Earth. It's either set on Earth or in a space station above
Earth. Earth or space station.
Series 4 is just like, well, we hear that criticism and we're gonna try and do something about it.
Well, we've got more budget now.
Yeah, exactly.
We can afford to do alien planets now.
Yes, but we get a couple of historicals, whether that's ancient Rome or 100 years ago. Not even 100 years ago, but 60 years ago at that point, which I think are both done very well. Obviously, we've got 4 episodes set off-world, 5 episodes set off-world. Now that I think about it, we've got Planet of the Ood is off-world, Doctor's Daughter is off-world, Science Library Forest of the Dead is off-world, and Midnight is off-world as well. So we've really sort of gone, okay, bye Earth, bye. And I guess you could argue that the finale is technically off Earth, but they've moved Earth as well.
Some of it,
so,
yeah.
Earth
is also there.
Yeah,
well.
it is there. It's fine.
We don't see the other planets and what they're going through.
No, exactly. No one lives there. It's fine.
We had to pay everyone who came back.
yeah, can't do that. We'll just say there are people there and that they're not happy about what's going on. That's it. But yeah, I just think the whole different episodes, whether they focus on different things, whether that's the moral conundrums of saving people and maybe slavery and global warming. There's loads of different.
In my Doctor Who.
Oh, I know. There's loads of different topics, and I just feel this is definitely one of the more varied series that we get in terms of topics and episode sort of locations, time periods, and styles, which I greatly appreciate. I think it definitely adds to the series, and it's a credit that they all pay off, and it's got that consistency despite the amount of differences each episode has. But yeah, that's my final positive. So what are your additional ones, if you have any?
Yes, consistency. Strongest season probably for that. The Doctor and Donna's dynamic I think is great. One of my favorite Doctor and dynamics in the new series. And Wilf, because I love that man. Such a great kind of supporting character. A lot of the emotional core of series 4 I think really hits home because of Wilf carrying it. Bernard Cribbins is great. National treasure. I'm glad he didn't die in the week prior to the last one we recorded, when I almost cursed him to a devastating fate. He may have died in the last hour. I don't know. I haven't checked Twitter, but hopefully not. I hope he's still
He
Kicking
saw
around, Bernard.
he saw Doctor Who in Fortnite and went, I'm out. No, I'm done. I'm done.
It's like you've gone too far this time.
This is it. This is the last
Now
straw.
I've seen everything.
Yeah.
That's it. He just lies down. Yeah. I mean, fair
Thomas
enough.
Thomas was leaving because he had seen everything.
It was time for Bernard to leave. He'd seen everything. But yeah, there's some great kind of moments with Wilf that I really enjoyed, and yeah, just the noble family apart from Sylvia.
Such as Wilf.
They're really good. I mean, there's only two people.
Yeah.
I literally talked about the two as individuals, so ignore the noble family comment. But yeah,
Scratch that
he
from the
was
record.
he was a noble presence in
Ah.
series 4, and I appreciated him a lot. So
Nice.
thanks, Wilf. See you again soon.
Hopefully.
I know, hopefully. It's like 4
Well,
episodes
okay, in
away.
End of Time, I thought you meant like in the show again, news.
Oh, I see. In the 60th.
Yeah, maybe. Got to film it now just in case.
Please.
But yeah,
Well, now you've jinxed
no, now I've done it. Yeah. My other sort of additional positive was obviously the new monsters that were there. All the characters coming back, and I quite like the return of the Sontarans as well. I enjoyed the majority of them in their episodes. Obviously, the highlight is the big warehouse battle sequence that I'm a big fan of, and it shows how sort of menacing and intelligent the Sontarans are, which I know I'm going to have a bit of an issue with moving forward, unfortunately. But it's a while till they show up again.
You're going to hate one Sontaran in particular.
Yeah,
not
I
the
mean,
race,
to be fair,
really.
well,
And
the
one
two,
30-second scene.
the two annoying ones. I love Strax, but the two annoying ones.
Oh, so your problem is one 30-second scene.
Yeah, exactly. But that's her. Other than Strax, that's her only appearance in the show. So, what can we do?
Get over a 30-second scene.
No, ever.
Rather than a 3-minute scene about fucking chocolate.
I'm a Doctor Who fan. I don't get over anything.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, I do like the Sontarans, and I did enjoy them back in Flux as well. But I mean, they're probably not going to appear again in the show for another 10 years. So, never mind.
Oh well.
Unfortunately, we do have to talk about our negatives for the series. I will go first. The supporting cast, or at least the use of the supporting cast in a lot of episodes.
Okay.
I just think a lot of the supporting cast are pretty underutilized, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fires of Pompeii, the Peter Capaldi's family are pretty much unimportant.
Yeah, it's a shame Peter Capaldi never got more to do in Doctor Who.
No, I know, he'll never be back.
Oh well.
Planet of the Ood, obviously they've got infamous security guard. Yeah, they've got him, but him and the scientist man that's a friend of the Ood and the secretary are all pretty much underdeveloped and undercooked. Even in Unicorn the Wasp, most of the people you don't really care about, most of the suspects, you're not that fussed about, especially the Diamond Thief. Who definitely doesn't go on to be.
All right then.
Yeah. Her. And then even in Science and Library as well, a lot of the supporting, archaeology team are pretty underused in that. And then and we also pointed out, that some of the companions that return in the finale don't get maybe as much of a look in as they probably could have done. So yeah, I just think that's a bit of a negative. Is that as great as it is that they focus on the Doctor and Donna and a good couple of key characters, unfortunately a lot of the other ones that are supposedly supposed to be important to the plot are just sort of left flailing about. It's like that meme where you've got the parent with the kid and it's Dr. Donna, and then it's the other one where it's like the other kid's shouting.
Oh yeah.
Supporting characters. It's that's what it is.
Basically.
That's series 4. But yeah. It's nothing that makes me go, oh my god, this has ruined the whole series. It's not to that level, because I can get over it, because a lot of the other stuff around it is so good. But unfortunately, they just, and that's no slight on the cast, the actors that play them. I think it's just a slight on their use in the episodes, unfortunately. So what's your first negative?
Unnecessary teasing and build up is my main one. Yeah,
That's what
I've
he
talked
said.
um, it's not about how much build up you do; it's how you use it. And unfortunately, I didn't really like how he used it.
Yep.
Well, that's great out of context, but that's fine. Yeah, I've talked about this at length, at great length, much to everyone's hatred, I imagine, in many previous episodes of this series we do. But yeah, there's just a lot of it in series 4 that I feel like isn't needed, doesn't really go anywhere. Rose on the video screens, we don't need it. The Ood saying your song's ending soon, 2 years before the fucker dies, very early in the series. And it's not even like that's the part of what the Ood say they revisit. It's the Dr. Donner thing that they revisit. And like, okay, fine. And yeah, all this Dalek Khan prophecy nonsense. One of them will die. No, they won't. The most faithful companion.
Harriet Jones dead.
Harriet Jones is dead, but she's not because there's a trap door in her house.
She's the companion for the new Doctor, Harriet Jones.
I'd be right with that. I'd be more than happy with that.
Oh, I'd find it hilarious.
Even though it's going to be the girl from Sex Education, isn't it? Lily.
Oh yes, yeah, and it's going to be the guy from Class as the Doctor.
Yeah,
that's it. Ah, fine, I'm happy with that.
I don't think he'd be that bad. I think he's probably the best actor in Class. So
it's not hard. It's not hard. Pete Capaldi's the best actor in Class. Thank you very much.
I know. Oh God, you're right. Yeah, he's the second best actor in Class.
It is 2 scenes. Pete Capaldi is better than a whole of Class.
Wow. Class. Funny enough, it wasn't very Class without him.
Wasn't first
yeah.
Class,
anyway. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. There's just so much of that, and I know it's just a thing to make the drama happen, but I'm tired of it. 4 long years of it. I'm tired of it. It will never happen again, I'm sure. So at least I've got a recurring thing that I can always just rely on as a negative going forward.
Definitely won't be Doctor Who for the next 4 years.
Doctor Who. But yes, that's going to be a riot and a half. Yeah. Although I don't think it happens anywhere near as much as people remember because it just got memed. But
yeah,
it does happen a lot. So yes, I've got some negatives in my back pocket. Can't wait for that. But yeah, I don't mind it if it gets a proper payoff. But a lot of this just doesn't. Like, do we need all these references to the bees disappearing? No. Because does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? No. Because the planets disappearing is completely separate and don't need it. But all of that, and Psychic Woman from Planet of the Dead's coming up next. Next but one. Yep. There's just, I don't need it. So that's a big bugbear for me of probably just Doctor Who in general. But this era I've really noticed it. Along with all their recurring dialogue all sounding the same. But I didn't include that one.
Yay.
So you're welcome. But yeah, that's a big thing for me because just so much build up to be like, oh, okay. It's a bit strange to me, but there we go.
No, I think that's fair enough. And I think especially because if you think about how the story arc's been teased in series 1 to 3, they're a lot more subtle with their inclusions. You think of Bad Wolf, it's graffiti or set over a tannoy. You think of Saxon, that's on a poster in the background, on the TV in the background. You don't notice it. Same with Torchwood. Gets a couple of mentions here and there, but again, it's mainly in the background. Whereas this one, I felt they proper threw it at you by having characters say it to other characters, which hadn't really happened before in this kind of extreme way, which I think is why it stands out a little bit more. But I do get what you mean. This definitely did go a little bit overboard with prophecies, especially in the finale, where it's like, oh, big prophecy. You know that prophecy? It's this one. Big.
The loss that is yet to come.
Yeah.
She's not going to bloody remember that.
Yeah, just don't bother telling her. It's fine. She won't remember any of this.
Don't bother.
So I've got all of these ones are very nitpicky. Like none of them are absolutely horrible. I'd struggle for negatives for this series if I'm being honest. So please forgive me for some of them. Luke Rattigan.
Wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, because I was looking back through my notes and I was like, what does stand out as like one of the biggest misstep of series, or one of the biggest missteps of series 4? I think it's just his character is just
Mhm.
so unnecessary. I don't think there's a satisfactory story arc there, and it plays into the whole, supporting cast gets let down type thing. But he just doesn't need to be there. You could have had Martha play that role, which would have helped with something else I'll come on to.
Martha should have been blown up.
Yeah, yeah, well, but it just would. It's just such a waste of a character. He's not likable. Him sacrificing himself at the end doesn't make him likable. He's definitely the weakest point of that whole two-parter. He's not at the extreme of Adam in being one of the most annoying almost companions that we've had, but he's not too far up there. It probably helps that he was already a bit of a dick to start with, therefore he can't sink lower.
Yeah. He's in the same amount of episodes as Adam. So
well, there you go. No,
I think you're right.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
you're right to be just as annoyed.
Yeah, I was thinking, no, what? Adam was in 3, but obviously Dalek wasn't a two-parter, so there you go.
No.
So yeah, it's just unnecessary. I think, like, of all the characters in this, I think he wasn't needed as much as he's made out to be, and he just stands out. Unfortunately, sorry, guy from Plebs. What can you do? So what is your next negative, moving on from my NAF ones?
Yeah. Well, tying into your NAF one in a way with Luke, I do. Well, actually, both of mine kind of tie into that anyway. But my next one really, I think because the second half is so good, I do feel like in retrospect, the first half kind of drags for me a bit, and it's a bit slow, a bit weaker overall.
Yeah.
That is true of, I think, of a lot of Doctor Who series. I think with the exception of Series 6, I think the first half of Series 6 is infinitely stronger than the second half. For me, exception of the Gang of Two-Parter.
Maybe Series 7 as well, with Amy and Rory in the first half. And I know you've got the soft spot for Clara, but I can't look past Journey to Tennant'S.
It's not a soft spot, buddy. No, I love 11 and Clara together, and I know that's really unpopular opinion, but I have so much fondness and nostalgia for that particular year of the show, and I just love the whole arc with her mystery stuff. That is years away.
Yes.
But yeah. What was I talking about? I just think about Clara. I'm sorry.
It's gone. It's gone.
Oh, yeah. The first half. Okay. Calm down, Liam. I might take my jacket off, but
don't throw some water on your face.
Okay, I'll be right back. But yeah, I do think tying into the whole Luke thing, I think the Sontaran two-part in particular, I think really drags the first half of the season down. I feel like to me revisiting that was a bit of a slog. And then some of the early episodes I think really have great moments, and I do enjoy watching them, as it's happening. But in retrospect, I'm like, I just wish they could get on to this. And I'm just really waiting to get to the library two-part. Basically, I think every time I watch a series like this, and like I said, you can say about most series, but I needed some negatives, and I really did struggle outside of like the whole unnecessary teasing thing. So it's something I can deal with, because obviously I don't have to watch the first half of series 4 if I don't want to. But I do have to as part of this. But you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think it's more of a case of, and it's a weird thing to kind of twist as a negative, like the second half is just too good. So I think it makes the first half look a bit like, but that's not really the fault of series 4, but I needed a negative. And I do feel like there are some slower or weaker elements to the start of the series.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough, and I do completely agree. Like, if you think about, you've got the Sontaran two-parter, then you've got Doctor's Daughter, and then you've got Unicorn and the Wasp. It's kind of like, come on, let's go. And then you've just had Fires of Pompeii and Planet of the U. You're like, come on. Especially because I think it's unfair, kind of, because we know what's coming. If we were watching this live week and week, it might be different. But because we know what's coming and how good what coming is, it's harder for the first half of the series. So I completely agree. So sort of tying into my previous point about characters being underused. I mean, all of my negatives are just characters being underused. Martha, in her return in the middle of the series, underused. She's sidelined as a clone for most of the two-parter, and then she's sidelined
through the ringer.
Yeah, she's sidelined completely in the next episode, by by doing exactly what the Doctor and Donna are doing anyway and getting there at exactly the same time. So it's just, I
Yeah.
don't know why they made the decision to bring her back and then put her in those episodes specifically and have her do so
Yeah.
little.
And then give her not one, but 2 pointless side stories in the finale.
Yeah, oh,
Three.
yeah, exactly. So I'm sorry, Martha. You were great in series 2, and I'm sure, maybe they
She's
wanted
in
her.
series 2.
Oh, series 3. Sorry, in David Tennant's second series. That's what I was thinking.
Don't
But
skip 9.
No, I
Good
know, I
God.
know. It's a terrible mistake.
Cancel him.
But I don't know whether they wanted to bring her back in the middle
I
of the
hope
series.
the world shits
No!
on you.
No! Oh, maybe they wanted to bring her back in the middle of the series just so that they could maybe, bump her up in people's thoughts and feelings for the finale.
Yeah.
Because obviously she still had to battle with Rose when she came in, so people might not have been that excited for her. But I don't think this necessarily would have made improvements on how people felt because she's not in it enough to have people change their minds. Although she has a nice moment with the half that she manslaughters. What can you do? She does. I will stand by that. She kills the Hath. It's her fault he dies. So, never mind. But yeah, sorry,
Wow.
sorry, Martha. Sorry, Freema. If you came back again, maybe it would have been better. If you were in another show, maybe better. And I think it's especially because just like at the same time as she's in Doctor Who, she's just been in Torchwood series 2.
Yeah.
Which I would argue are probably better than the episode she's in there. Are better than the episode she's in this.
Yes.
Just because she's given much more to do. She's literally the focus of the first episode she's in for that one. But never mind. I think that's just an unfortunate timing. And we haven't discussed Torchwood on here. But if you want to go and see that, I can't remember what the Torchwood episodes are called, but it's series 2 of Torchwood. Just look through it. Martha will be on the thumbnail.
Yeah. Reset is the first one she's in.
That's it. And then the other one's
I think
Day in Death, isn't it? Or something like that.
The Day of the Death and something. Yeah, it's 6, 7, and 8 of season 2.
There you go. Go and watch them. They're great. So the whole of Torchwood series 2 is pretty good, to be fair. Much better than series 1. But yeah. Anyway, Martha, sorry, you should have just come back from the finale. Probably would have been better. Never mind.
Well.
Especially because they leave her like, oh yeah, I'm a unit, and they're just like, yeah, I'm in New York now. It's like, oh, okay, then with a completely different general. Like, so you didn't even need to bring her back because you could have at least established she was with this group, and then have.
Oh, why didn't work out
group
with Tom that long distance?
Yeah, maybe, and even that, never mind. It's just never mind.
He was
sorry,
like, you teleported back to your mum and not me?
Yeah, how dare you, even though we live next door. How dare you?
Or he was killed by the Daleks and they just never said.
That probably would have been better to just, have that be the case.
Yeah.
And then her move on.
Just randomly get with Mickey.
To the next person. She's the first person she sees. Mickey.
Yeah. Doesn't share a single word with.
No.
Until they're married.
God's sake. Yeah. So was Martha. So what is your third negative?
Yes. Some of the handling of the big returning villains is my one.
Okay.
Compared to some of the original stuff.
Considering there are only 2 returning villains, and you quite like Davros coming back.
Well, like returning monsters and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Sontarans and the Daleks for me. I mean, the Ood are fine because they're not villains in that episode, and
yeah,
it does have Cal, which is a huge mark against them. But
he's not
they do some new stuff with them, so that's cool. No, thank God.
Yeah.
Until the 60th anniversary.
He's the next Doctor.
He's a serial killer.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine? No, he's busy in EastEnders.
Oh God.
Doing good stuff, I would assume. I think he got better. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I think with the Sontarans, it's less them, but I just think I wish they were given a better story than what we got with them. And I don't really like the Sontar thing. I find that annoying. And I'm glad they really basically dropped that altogether in Flux. That was good. Well, they toned it down for sure.
They introduced Sontar Ho this time.
Sontar Ho. But he only says that once and then
dies.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sadly, there is the chocolate scene that completely killed the Sontarans and Flux for me.
I
But
love it. I love it.
at least they're fine.
Chocolate.
God, awful. Chocolate.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
I don't mind it. I
Don't mind the tongue.
Love a bit of tongue.
Oh.
What is wrong with me today?
For me, they're not Sontarans unless they have nice big tongues.
I love it when Sontarans lick their lips. I don't know what it is. Potato full play.
New kink unlocked.
Anyway.
Sontaran tongues.
Yeah. Oh my god. This is why I love Doctor Who so much. I finally realized it. But yeah, and then the Daleks again, it's more so just how they're very, very easily defeated in the end. And it's just a bit like, oh, okay, a bit pants. I just wish they deserved better than to be spun around with their own console, getting yeeted down corridors as Jackie watches them like, good. You don't deserve this, Jackie. You've done nothing. But still, I need more negatives. So I just wish more so the story surrounding, I guess, would be the negative, the returning big foes. I wish there was a bit more of an oomph to them, like the Daleks coming back in Doomsday and stuff like that. I think that really does them justice, even though they shot on the Cybermen to do them justice, at least it's something. But I don't know, I feel like they kind of dropped the ball in terms of that, for me, personally, in Series 4.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I mean, I quite like the Sontarans. I like their redesign. I like how... probably similar to you. I like them coming back, and I like how they are in it, but I do think they could have done with a better story, and I think between now and Flux, they probably could have done with a new story as well, so it's not just this one that we've had for 10 years. But never mind. What can we do? They'll be back eventually, maybe, hopefully.
There's only so much you can do when they just like fighting, I guess. They'll be back in another 10 years.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. That is one of their issues, is that they're only a warrior race, so they can only be really cannon fodder more than anything else.
And they're clones.
Yeah.
So how far can you really take clones?
Yes, because Daleks definitely aren't clones. Or Cybermen.
Definitely not in Journey's End and Fighting for the Waves. They're definitely not clones in that as well. No, made from humans. And, it's fine. Every story's been told.
Yep, every story. But yeah, so sort of my additional sort of negative points. I think the CGI, when the CGI is used, especially I think at the start of the series, isn't the best. Mass-produced adipose, Pyrovar monsters, and Big Crane are the three that stand out as bad CGI. Yeah,
that Crane's awful.
The Reliance ends sort of after that. It moves more practical. The only real CG monster we have after that is Sylvester Form. Everything else is pretty much practical, and I think that works to its benefit. But yeah, the CGI there when it's there, it's not great. And then the other one for me is just Rose on the TVs. It's just not needed. Just no point in her being there.
That's fair.
And I will hammer that point home. But never mind, it's gone. She only appears twice.
You have.
Ah, never mind. So, have you got any other additional negatives?
I don't think I do. No, I did struggle.
Oh,
so
very nice. Yeah, well, I felt I needed to add in a couple more because a lot of mine were just this cast member was unnecessary, whereas my big one was cast members are unnecessary. So I was like, I need to sort of add in something else here.
Spice it up,
I know. Never mind. Okay, so in which case we'll talk about our what episodes we think are our favourites. So what overall Series 4, what episode did you enjoy the most?
I would say for like the story combined with like the references to the era and stuff, I think Turn Left is definitely like a big standout for me.
That's fair enough. Mine was close with Turn Left, but I've gone for the Stolen Earth instead. Again, because of the whole grand scale, it really feels, it's the whole celebration of the show, and you could maybe throw Journey's End in there. But I think just the whole potential of Stolen Earth, I think, is always what what puts it above the second part. And then what do you think is your least favourite episode?
I can't remember which one of the Sontaran two-part I preferred and which one I didn't. But it's one of those two.
Yeah.
Was it? I think it might have been Poison Sky.
Probably. Normally the second one's the worst one.
Yeah. It's one of the Sontaran two-part ones anyway.
Fair enough.
It was definitely been my favourite. Before we did this, I'd have said Doctor's Daughter by a landslide, but
okay,
I was pleasantly surprised by that this time.
I mean, that's Doctor's Daughter never came into my thought when I was thinking that. My immediate thought was Planet of the Ood, but then I also thought Fires of Pompeii. I think they're sort of both average enough that I can be like, nah. Like, just because they're the worst of the series doesn't mean they're the worst episodes ever to exist. You know, they're still probably solid 6, 7s out of 10, but unfortunately, when the rest of the episodes, 8, 9s, that's the big problem. So, with the stats, with our rankings throughout the whole of Series 4, how did we do? What was? Did we match our official rankings?
Are you ready for the shocking news?
No.
No, you're right.
Oh.
And that's it. But yeah, let's just go through. Let's run the numbers. I'm running the numbers. They have been verified,
nice,
and confirmed, locked in by the adjudicators. The
public has voted.
Public has voted, and leaving us tonight is, well, anyway. Talk about actual our scores out of 140 for the 14 episodes. We could rank them out of 10 stuff. On average, this is shockingly the best series yet, performance-wise. For our average scores out of 10, it got 109.75 out of 140, which is up a whole 8 and a bit points from series 3.
Oh, check that out.
There you go. Quite the landslide victory there for series 4. And yeah, overall, you scored it 110 out of 140.
Oh, nice.
And I scored it 109.5.
Oof.
So it was only 0.5 in it.
Shocked about
crazy. Yeah, I think for that, the averages, what's interesting, I think, is for you, when you liked an episode, you really liked it. So you scored it high. When you didn't, you really didn't. So you scored it really low. Yep. So then
there's no middle ground.
Yeah. So when I was like, yeah, that's fine, I guess, that's fine, I guess, kind of 7, 8. It just kind of still averaged out a bit high. So hooray for Doctor Who. So there was that. Your overall average out of 10 for series 4 would be 7.85 out of 10. So a respectable score. And mine would be 7.82. So again, only teensy little bit below.
I was thinking here, if I was doing this out of 10, I have put 8. So I was pretty close with what I would have gone.
I'd have gone for 8 as well, yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that makes our average about 7.83 out of 10 for both of us together for series 4, which is, again, the highest scoring. I think let's have a look at the previous series. I've actually got a spreadsheet here. So
series 2 is like a 3% series 2.
Yeah, series 3 was 7.1. Series 2 was 6.9. Sorry, series 3. And then series 1 is 7.8. So it's only just above series 1.
I think that's fair.
0.03, and I think that is fair as well. They're definitely the two best series. And your previous best series was series 3. You gave that 100 out of 140. My previous best series was series 1, which I gave 104.5. So that's still like 5 higher for this if you compare the averages. But shocking me to my core, taking my averages into account, I actually rated series 1 higher than series 4 with all my averages, with a solid 8 overall for series 1. So there you go. And I actually, looking back, I think that's kind of fair.
It's probably because you gave Long Game like a point higher than me, and that's what tipped it over for you.
Yeah. So if we were just going by the scores I've given it in the series 1 actually did better than series 4 for me. So there you go. I think because series 4 has some memeability to it as well.
Yes.
All the Adam stuff you can kind of laugh at. Maybe it's that. But that surprises me, but I'm not mad at it. I think series 1 and series 4 are both worthy kind of favourites of the RTD era.
That's fair.
And then in terms of with both our scores combined and averaged out and everything, the best episode was a draw between Midnight and Turn Left, which got 9.25.
I think that's probably fair. They are considered the best episodes, aren't they, of the whole series.
And that is actually reflected in our actual favourites that we gave score-wise individually. So my favorite was Midnight. I gave it a 9.5. And your favorite was Turn Left, which you gave a 9.5.
Nice. I know I gave
So
Stolen Earth and Journey's End 9s, I think.
yes, you did.
So I
Yes.
thought that was the highest I'd given, but obviously not. Turn Left, I must
Mm.
have given higher.
But yes. So worst episode on average for both of us, shocking no one, was The Poison Sky.
No, there we
Scored
go then.
6.25.
Oopsie.
So that's good. And that was also my lowest score for series 4. I gave that a 6. But you kind of, this ties into what you were saying earlier. Planet of the Ood was your least favorite. You gave that a 6.
There you go then.
So says a lot about series 4, really,
yeah.
when the lowest score we gave an episode was 6.
Yeah,
Just still kind of above average, really, out of 10.
What we would have given The Long Game and then Love and Monsters and Fear
Considering
Her,
looking at series 3, we both gave Lazarus Experiment and 42 an average score of 5.
Oh, I forgot about those two.
Yeah, how? I didn't. I'm still emotionally scarred and devastated by 42.
42 ruined you.
It really did. But we had the Doctor's Daughter in this series to make up for it, so that's okay. But yeah, shocking news. And then the best two-parter on average for us as well, probably shocking no one, was The Stolen Earth and Journey's End, which got an 8.5 out of 10. Only just behind it, though, was Silence of the Library and Forest of the Dead, which got 8.4 on average. And then, again, shocking no one. The worst was 6.6 out of 10 was The Sontaran Stratagem and The Poison Sky. So that was definitely the low point of series 4 for us, was the Sontaran two-parter.
The first half of the series was the low point, I think, is what we've established here.
Yes, we have established this loud and clear.
Yep.
But yeah, series 4 performed very well overall, though. So it, with averages kind of all included, that is our highest scoring series thus far, which I would have said even when we started this.
Yeah.
I would have said series 4 would be the best thus far. But individually, series 1 did better for me. But we're not here to talk about me. So
no, we're here to talk about us, the royal we.
Yes,
that's what it is.
Royal we.
Yes, we speak for the fandom. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, everything we've said is categorically fact.
Yep, even when we disagree, both things we've said is true.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the truth.
That's how it works. That's called compromise.
It's true.
Oh, brilliant! Well, that does bring series 4 to a close. I think it has been, definitely one of the best that we've seen so far. We've got the specials coming up. Is the next? It's not. I'm not going to class it as a series. We've got, because it's not. So we've got 5 stories or 4 stories, 5 episodes to come. So we've always got the next Doctor, which is Christmas. Planet of the Dead.
Yeah.
Easter. Wars of Mars. Halloween, and then we've got End of Time Part 1 and 2, which is Christmas and New Year. So that will be coming to you on a weekly basis in 2 weeks' time, because we're taking next week off because we are on holiday. So we'll go through the specials, and then by May we'll be hitting into Matt Smith. We'll be we'll be heading that way, which I am quite excited to see. I've really, in the past sort of 2 or 3 months when we've been getting close to the end of David Tennant, I've been really trying to stop myself going back and watching any Matt Smith episodes so I don't compromise myself, which has been quite difficult because there have been times when I'm like, oh yeah, I really want to go and watch that, but I've just held myself back. So I'm going to be as fresh as possible for a lot of these, especially the further we get into his series, the less I'll have seen the episodes. But yeah, I'm very excited for that. So we will be back in a couple of weeks' time with the next Doctor is next. So enjoy that when it comes. And unfortunately, because we are on holiday, if any big breaking news occurs, we will be unable to cover it.
Apart from the breaking news about Fortnite.
Except Fortnite. I have, so that nobody else has to do it, I did go and do a walkthrough of the Doctor Who Museum in Fortnite. It's only 7 minutes long, so if you want to have a gander at that, by all means, don't waste your own time. Don't waste 3 hours downloading Fortnite just to go and do this. It's not worth it. Don't waste your internet. Sorry. But I mean, we might cover, obviously next week we won't have anything, but the week after, when we are back before the next episode, we might be able to get to cover anything if anything comes out. Because there might be a little mystery spot in the Fortnite Museum. So what can they be doing with that? Could they doing a Fortnite reveal? I hope not. Please.
It would be absolutely hilarious if the 14th Doctor is revealed via Fortnite.
I mean, because it's not a limited time event. I don't think it's going to matter. I think they might just put their outfit in there when it comes in, maybe, unless it was just a tease that it's ongoing always. I don't know, but anyway, you can see what it is. It was useless. It's just not. I just can't believe it. I mean, fair play. The Doctor Who is in Fortnite, but I can't.
I never thought I'd see the day.
I can't believe they've done it this badly.
I can't believe they've done this.
That's all I can say. But yes, I mean, by all means, if people want to know what we want to think about Fortnite, let us know, and we'll go and do a video about how it could be good. We'll go and play the game modes. It could be good.
Yeah, me having played like 3 games of Fortnite in my life.
Yeah, you can do a private.
I look forward to giving that a go.
Only both of us can go on the
that's
maps
good.
and explore.
That's good. We can judge each other.
Yeah. But anyway, that's it. We will be back in a couple of weeks' time with some more Doctor Who. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.